So let me go through the scale one more time. 1 is undateable, hideous, disgusting. Ugh, yikes. I ain't gonna bet. Undateable, disgusting. Pretty much nobody wants them. 2 is very unattractive, ugly, hurt. We got 3 is below average. 4 is average. 5 is slightly above average, somewhat attractive. 6 is attractive, cute. 7 is sexy. 8 is pretty. 9 is gorgeous, and 10 is beautiful. What we giving her? What are we giving Brett Cooper? First of all, I just want to say, Miss Brett, holy.
Let me suck them titties, baby. Oh, yeah. Let me suck them titties, baby. Let me suck them titties, baby.
Sing along with me, y'all.
I know.
Suck them titties on the west side. Suck them titties on the best side. Best titties I ever had. Oh, my mama miss. So we got Dragon Slayer says 7 out of 10 for me, 8.5 with makeup. Yes, I'm a sucker for good hips. Woo. Woo. I feel you. Look at them hips. Look at them hips. Frostfang says 7.7. Woo. Guys, before we get into it, I just want to say that if you agree with or like any part of my commentary, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. It's becoming very apparent that YouTube is not a fan of the conservative nature in which we speak about movies, video games, pop culture, and politics around here. And so if we can get our engagement right, when we go up to YouTube, we can swipe our race card without having to worry about it declining, okay? Let's get into it. He says, dude, she's a 21 out of 22. Alex vs. Evil says 8. I'm right there with y'all. So I gotta be objective. I like her as, like, without makeup, I like her as cute. A really adjustable 6. So remember how I defined I feel like 6 is right where you want to be. Adjustable, because a 6 can be wherever she wants to be. She can be, you know what I'm saying, on an average day, not at her best, looking like this, which is, I say, like right around 5, 6. This is cute. It's a 6. You know what I'm saying? 6, 6. But then when she really wants to clean up, she can turn it all the way up and go straight to 8. Holy. That's why I love 6s. That's why I love 6s. Women who are 8s without makeup are dangerous. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Frostfang says, dude, she's like 21, 22. Like it feels a tad bit creepy. You mean us finding her attractive is creepy because she's 21, 22? Okay, but anyway, let's we done got way off subject. But we gotta. Dragon Slayer says, I'm 26 though. Well, I mean, perhaps he's saying that because I'm 30. I don't know. Alex vs. Evil says I'm 24. So okay, let me ask you this then, Frostfang. Frostfang says, okay, now that you say it that way, I guess I feel old. I'm 28. Well, okay, so you know, before we get into this video, do you feel like there should be a limit on there should be a limit? Stupid. Do you feel like there should be like a limit on age gap dating? Because me personally, I've never dated someone seriously younger than 4 years, younger than 4. no younger than 4 years younger than me. But as I've hit 30 now, like I don't like the women my age. So like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I just don't like the women my age. It's just that. So do you feel like somebody who's 30 shouldn't be like dating somebody who's 21, 22? Reside says my issue is she looks like Ben Shapiro. Shit. There's always a paper bag. Reside. Alex versus Evil says I don't find it weird. Alex versus Evil says sometimes I find Brett cringe. To be honest, fair enough. I like her. She's young. She acts her age. So, but you know, I think Frostfang though, I think he's more of a person who, I mean, based on what I think he's saying, I think he's more of a person who believes you should date around your age, which is, you know, fair.
It's where sometimes the news stories are so just like up in your face that it really doesn't take a lot of research and you're regurgitating stuff. But this one, it's just like, it's all the numbers are there. And it's like, you can't ignore this. Okay. All right, let's yell at some more women. Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. We have all watched the Whatever podcast. We have all seen Fresh and Fit. You've at least seen clips of them if you haven't watched full episodes.
This stupid.
We've seen the TikToks with the horrifying, terrifying women.
First of all, I just want to say, I like what the Whatever podcast is doing, but you got to be honest. They the fake Fresh and Fit. Let's keep it. If you look at their account, they've had a YouTube channel for years, but they literally just started doing the whole talking to women. They literally just started it like a year ago. Fresh and Fit's been doing this for almost 4 years now. So
discussing their body counts as some kind of badge of honor. We know that that's out there. That's just currently the world that we live in 2023. So it should not be surprising that women are having more premarital sex than ever before. But the actual numbers are shocking, and we're going to talk about that today. Before we do, though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you've not already, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss a comment section or
Frostfang says Fresh and Fit are Splendid daddies. What make you say? You trying to say they sugar daddies? What make you say that?
The clock episode. So thanks to an awesome article written by my friend Gina Florio over at Evie Magazine, I learned that per a 2016 report, the number of women with 10 plus premarital partners has more than doubled in 30 years. Now, I'm not a prude. I don't care if you are a virgin when you get married. It's not my life. It's not my prerogative. But ladies, 10 plus. That we can all agree that's a bit much. And if you don't think that's a bit much, we need to have a very serious conversation. But here's the report.
I agree. Hold on, because I'm missing some comments, y'all. I don't know if I ever get a lot more people in here, this might be a little bit of an issue. Regis says, "Hey babe, you want to take me to bingo? Then I can get lucky 2 times on one night." What? I mean, my mom was 26 and my dad was 40 when they got married. They were dating for a few years before, but then again, he was a big corporate at the time in Cuba. They've been together for 2.5 decades. Yeah, I mean, age gap dating has been a thing for a long time. The thing is, women like older men because women tend to like men who got their shit together. So that's why it's always kind of surprising a little bit. Well, and I guess this is a new modern thing. I don't know if it's conditioning, but we've been kind of conditioned to think that. So when I was younger, when I was in my early 20s, I admittedly, I was bitter when women my age would go and date men like in their 30s. But now that I'm 30, I understand why they did it. Because if you're a young woman and you want to date a guy on a serious level who got his shit together. I mean, I ain't had my shit together at 21. How many of us, I mean, maybe you got it better, but how many of us at 21, 22, 20, hell, even 25 had our shit? I got my first apartment at 23 years old, but I was broke. I was broke. I had a car. And, you know, I was still dealing with women, you know what I'm saying? But I was broke. As far as long-term relationships, I mean, that was a few and far in between. Made that comment when you said people should date their age, and I was thinking being 50 and dating a 20. Now you can say there should be a limit. 30 years, okay, I can understand how that appears strange. I mean, come on, you got 30 years. I mean, I could never date somebody where I feel like, nigga, At one point, you was a baby and I was old enough to hold you, and I'm dating you. Woo! But some women like that shit. So anyway, let's keep going.
Counterintuitive trends in the link between premarital sex and marital stability. It's actually fascinating to read because they talk about the divorce rates. We're not going to talk about that today, but if you want to learn about it, read the report. In the 1970s, only 2% of women had more than 10 sexual partners. Then the sexual revolution took off, and those numbers just continued to increase. Fast forward to the 2010s, and 18% of women now have a body count more than 10. And guys, the kicker is, this survey, it came out in 2016. It only went up to 2013. Imagine what these numbers are now.
I don't like where this is going.
10 years later, when we see people my age saying that they've slept with 15 different guys, happily giving out that information on the Whatever podcast.
15 is conservative, because I know a lot of women and 15 is laughable. Like, only 15? It's crazy out here, dog. It's crazy.
And then being angry when men go, okay, you're not wife material because you're literally giving it away to everybody. Like, that's normal now. It's not only just normal, but feminists run around saying that this is empowerment and that more women need to be doing this. That hookup culture.
Dragon Slayer commentary says, I mean, no one's stopping those kinds of dudes from dating young women, but there is this thing called generational gap, and sometimes that can cause problems. So I think that depends on the dynamic of your relationship. So it's kind of like what you're looking for. So I remember I used to buy into this idea of, I'm looking for somebody who I can relate to, somebody who we can, we like the same things and we can have a conversation and this, that, and the third. But now I'm not looking for that. As a matter of fact, I could give a motherfucker if you watch the football as much as I do. I could care less if you, because my ex, she watched anime a lot. I didn't. She had to force me to watch certain shit. And oftentimes, what would happen is, I would come home, I would turn on the video game, she would turn on some anime, she would sit in the bed, I would play the game. We good, we chilling. I don't need all that. And by the way, a lot of the things that I was interested in talking about, she didn't want to talk about. Like, she didn't like serious topics. So, I mean, like, I don't need all that. I don't need to be in a relationship with my best friend. But if you're a guy and you want a woman who you can do all of the things you love, you play video games, you want a woman you can play video games with, knock yourself out. You probably ain't gonna find that with a woman who's 30 years younger than you, though.
Is a good thing, when objectively we know that it harms women. And these trends are not new. Women have been lied to about hookup culture being empowering for years now. We have been lied to about marriage being oppressive and detrimental to your womanhood and your life and your career. And we have been taught that our value is literally synonymous with our sex appeal, even though we're supposed to hate men and the patriarchy.
It don't make no more sense.
That's all bullshit. I remember being in high school and being so turned off by the incredibly sexual and promiscuous behavior of all the girls around me that I started to act incredibly masculine and tomboyish, more than I really was, because I didn't see any alternatives. It got to the point that my mom literally, like, we were in the car, I was sitting there, I was dressed in all black and like my big boots, and I was like sitting like a dude, kind of like I am now. So obviously things really haven't changed, even though I do think I'm a little bit more feminine. But my mom turned to me and she was saying, like, you are acting like a man. You are so angry too, because you're rejecting these ideals of womanhood and what it means to be a girl in the modern age, because you don't want to be that promiscuous. But that's not the only option. Like, you can be a feminine woman while not giving yourself away. You don't have to be basically on the path.
Agreed. Ladies, you can be feminine. Feminine does not mean be a whore. You know what I'm saying? But she's right though. You know what I'm saying? We have data and statistics that show that the more premarital partners a woman has, the less she's equipped for marriage. Here's the implication. Let me explain it. I've heard this explained, because one of the things about, again, I always say this is not a red pill channel. It's not. But you got to admit, some of these things they connect a lot of dots for a lot of people. One of the things about women and the difference between men and women when it comes to having sex is that women view sex from an emotional standpoint. Men, we trash. You know what I'm saying? We trash. We look at sex like taking a piss. Like, whoo, that's it. But women, so when women have sex with people, that man is in her mind for a long time. So I'll give you an example. Hold on. Before I give you this example, I gotta blow my nose. This happens every time I get on the stream. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So let me connect these dots for you. So like, take a woman who's, you know, young. Maybe she, okay, so maybe a young woman who's in high school. Let's be a lot of these girls are losing their virginities, you know, in high school, and a lot of them before that. And so let's say, for instance, you get little Sally who, you know, she's in a relationship with her high school sweetheart, maybe her freshman year. He's a senior or something like that. She loses her virginity to him. And, you know, a couple years go by. She's about to graduate. He's been out of high school. They're protected by the Romeo and Juliet law. You know, he's working at the factory with his dad or some shit like that. And you know what? She loves him to death. And he has the, you know what I'm saying? He's working with a 6-incher. You know what I'm saying? But she loves that 6-incher. She loves it all. She loves it. She wants it all the time. They have great sex, whatever the case may be. Well, now she's about to graduate high school and she's going off to college. And let's say they're out in Kansas. You know, fucking Kansas, right? She decides she wants to go to college out here in Atlanta. All right. You know, they had this big whoop about it. You know, he doesn't want her to go, but he doesn't want to hold her back. She ends up going. She goes to Georgia State out here. She wants to get a medical degree. I don't know, something. And then they kind of break up because the distance is too much. And so she starts going buck ass crazy. She starts hooking up with Brad, who's on the lacrosse team. And then she hooks up with Enrique, who's a engineer. And then she meets this rich guy named Steven, who's taking her out on these extravagant dates. And then she gets with Tyrone, who's on the football team. All he does is eat, fuck, and go to practice. And so, like, he has a 9-inch. She's never experienced a 9-inch before. And just throughout all 4 years of her college, she done ran through like 30 dudes. All right. And now she's graduated. She goes back to Kansas to kick it with her parents for a few months while she looks for a job in a bigger city, right? And then she meets back up with her boyfriend, little Sally does, with her high school sweetheart. And all of those feelings come back from when they were in high school. And they decide to get back together, right? But then, because all of those previous men that she had been with while she was in college are still in her brain, she starts looking at this high school sweetheart of hers who cares about her, who loves her, who probably wants to be with her for a long time, probably for the rest of his life. She's not looking at him the same. He doesn't drive the nice car that Steven in Atlanta had. He doesn't have a 9-inch like Tyrone in Atlanta had. Or like he doesn't have an engineering degree like Enrique in Atlanta has. So they lie down to have makeup sex. He pulls out this little 5-6-incher and she's just sitting there like, he's stroking and she's just sitting there like, wow, this ain't it. She will never be able to look at him the same or feel the same way about him because those other experiences with other men just ruined it. And that's how it is for women. They call it alpha widowing. So that's why women having multiple sex partners is bad, because they're always going to compare you to previous guys, and if you don't match up, you're being settled for.
Path to becoming a lesbian or trans if we're in 2023. And then in college, I remember being weird for not using Tinder. They don't haze people in UCLA sororities, but I remember after I rushed, people thought it was so strange that I'd never been on a dating app that I was told to do it, and that was going to be my quote hazing by my big and all my friends there. I was one of the odd ones out for not engaging in hookup culture and getting off at the party bus alone rather than with my date. And like none of this.
Shout out to Tony. Shout out to Tony. Tony Sakoja 11. I appreciate you for hitting the follow button, bro. I really appreciate it. Matter of fact, let me hit you with that.
Is new. And millennials are really the generation that are going to suffer, and hopefully we can all turn this around before Gen Z does the same. And we've covered these numbers before, but by 2030, it's predicted that 45% of women will be unmarried and childless. And why do you think that is? Well, it's because we've been told that, men are trash and that our career is the only thing that matters and that marriage and children will inhibit that, which is unnatural. That is biologically unnatural for women. Like, look at this chart from the Wall Street Journal about values in America. This is scary. Percent of people who say these values are very important to them. Patriotism gone down, religion gone down. Having children, like the whole chart is important, but let's look at that quadrant. Having children, it is a straight line down. Like, no wonder women are sleeping.
Regicide says, hey, Brett Daddy, got his prescriptions, and why don't you get my walker? And what the hell is Reese talking about? Dude, I can hardly keep up with what she says normal speed. She sounds like my youngest daughter. Oh yeah, because I got it on 1.2. I'm sorry. I never watch videos in regular speed anymore. I'm sorry. I can't even do it.
Sleeping around at these rates. No wonder they're not getting married. They don't value it. They don't care. We've been lied to about this. Here are other stats about it. Here are the marriage rates declining over time. It's just depressing. Like these days, women are caring more about self-love than actually getting married and having children. And like we joke.
Self-love basically means she belongs to the streets. I just found my next sound.
About self-love, but it is important to take care of yourself, and women are not taking care of themselves these days. They are doing things that literally harm them when they could be using a Bon Charge sauna blanket to take care of their bodies. Bon Charge is a holistic wellness brand with a huge range of evidence-based products to optimize your life in every way. Their extensive range of Bon Charge products go to % off. I promise. Simultaneously, the numbers of women sleeping around have been skyrocketing. And so then I was thinking, like, okay, well, I wonder what the impact has been on women's mental health. We talk about women's mental health a lot. And, you know, most of the current studies are connected to COVID-19 in women over the last couple of years in social media. But here's a report from 2011. Depression in women doubles since the 1970s as they try to have it all. Women are twice as likely to suffer from depression compared with 40 years ago because they are trying to juggle families and careers, researchers claim. Researchers who have studied the—
Exactly. You trying to do too much. You can't have it all, baby girl. You can't get ran through, have children, and like you can't do it. So, I mean, I don't know. Just this is the reason why I thought that this was interesting is because the body count debate between men and women has been like very like prevalent. And women swear up and down that body count does not matter. And I thought it was interesting that Brett Cooper, a young woman, she's about 24, I think, or 21, 22, I think that Frostfang says she's smart enough to recognize that you know, she's smart enough to recognize that that's important. And so hopefully she practices what she preaches. And you know, keep that bonus hole, you know, to yourself.
Let's go. Beat that thing down like you started attention, my baby. You had some plans with your man, just tell him to cancel, my baby. Slide to the crib like Dracula's mansion, my baby.